What's going on, guys, and welcome back. July is here. Nat season is here. Nat season's just about over, but the North American Nats WCQ Championship, whatever you want to call it, is here this weekend. So what hand traps are going to be the best for this format? If you're looking for a playmat, $30 gets you either one of these PK or Thunder Dragon. Message me via Discord, via Facebook, via well, not down below, that doesn't work too good. Twitter works as well. Links, however, are down below. Dragon Rider Games, best place for online testing, right up there, link down there. Click on them, check it out, and figure out what you want to do, especially with the season coming to an end. We're still going to run tournaments so you can play competitive tournaments and you can win money. Who doesn't like money? Or cards. We play for cards too. Lots of fun stuff. But back to the video. We have cards that could be in the main deck, side deck. What ones have uses, whether niche or deck specific, and which ones would I rather say I probably just wouldn't play them under any scenario. Ash Blossom, this one's a no-brainer. Not only is the format really, really good for Ash, it's just Ash. It's generic. It's going to be good in 90% of the formats, if not 95 to 99% of formats. Ash, once in a while, I think there's like 2 formats I recall where Ash wasn't like a main deck staple, but otherwise, since it's been released, the card has just always been there. Bell, I'm not huge on it versus Kashtira, which is the big deck in the room. Versus Runic, it's nice to stop Fountain, but it's really good against Labyrinth, Mathmech. It's pretty solid with like Dragon Link. It's got a lot of uses. I just don't think it's main deck worthy. Despia being another one that it's really good against. So I'm going to have Bell as a good side deck card. Then we go on into our Bestials. Well, Mathmech, Despia, Dragons, a lot of these decks are still popular. I don't think it's super great against Spright or Kashtira. Well, Kashtira is just straight bad, but Bestials are decent as side deck options, and likewise Crow kind of goes with them. Obviously Crow being able to hit Speller Traps is actually pretty important. However, not giving you the body on board or the follow-up that a Magnemite does is not quite as good as well. Token Collector, where do I want to put this? Sword Soul's pretty good. Adventure kind of sees play. Personally, I'm not gonna play it, especially for like Nats. However, come like the World Celebration stuff, if you're more worried about Sword Soul being popular, maybe Token Collector has some uses. But again, TCG current Nat season, Token Collector for me is going to fall into the I would not play it category. Contact C. If you hit Kashtira at the right time, like after Theosis or the Rise Heart in hand, they can't get rid of it, so it can be decent. Their bodies, though, like they can Unicorn, Fenrir, Birth, that's still 2 disruption plus like they rip a card from your extra deck. So I guess it has uses. I'm just not super sold on it. Spright can lock you out of using it, so you'd have to use it before that, but then they can just go into a sprint with it, so you give them a free body. So it's borderline don't play / has uses. If your locals is just absolutely flooded with Kashtira, it's pretty good. I haven't seen many Despia playing the is it Iron Dash is the one where they can use this if they get hit by it. So maybe versus Despia too, but it comes down to their extra deck. If they have the right cards, they can use it. Otherwise, they might not be able to. Spooky Dogwood, I don't like that card at all. Never have. It's going to be in my don't play category. Drone Lockbird. Well, all the Spright variants and Kashtira, obviously being the best decks. I do actually like Droll in the main right now. I think it's a pretty solid card. Unfortunately, if you're like me, you go to an OTS Championships trophy tournament, fun stuff like that yesterday, and you play no Kashtira, no Spright, and this card is dead all day because you're playing things like Dynamorphia, like Plunder Patrol, where he opens 4 back row, and like it is unfortunate, but I do still stand by Droll being a solid main deck card. These Psi frames, Gamma here is going to represent like Epsilon, Delta, Gamma, all those things. Honestly, I still think Gamma has uses. We had a fun talk at Locals actually yesterday where when you played Gamma, you always open Driver. So now just play 3 Driver, 1 Gamma, and you'll open Gamma all the time. That's just how logic works. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. I get it. I'm going to do it. But in reality, Dragon Link being a big one where they just sometimes are so dependent on resolving their card, and they need the discard outlet anyway. So like if they open the Driver, or if they get to Gamma, or they don't get hit by something, they can use that discard outlet and get rid of it rather easily, so it's not too bad. Otherwise, like, is Delta, I believe, is the Spell or Trap Negate one. Spell and Trap Negation is actually pretty good right now too. Like, you could easily run a Gamma and 2 or 3 Delta, and it's not the worst thing in the world. Again, I think it has uses, and personally, I'm not going to play it, but I think there might be situations that could potentially call for a Gamma being played despite being at 1. No material. I like this card a lot. I don't think it's that good. I don't think it does enough. Really good versus Dragon Link. Hit that Striker Dragon. Other than that, it's not going to be a whole lot for me. You'd think Runic being in the format, would that make Chaos Hunter good? I guess it gives it uses, right? It's not good to versus Kashtira, unfortunately. I mean, I guess it can kind of be good versus them, but they can always like make a big eye and take it. Now it's a level 7 for them to play with. As a Kashtira player, I don't think I've ever lost to this card. I've actually just extended further when I've gotten hit by it, because talents to take it, thrust into talents, like I said, big eye to take it, and it's a level 7 for me. But versus Runic, I think that it has some uses. I just don't quite think it's good enough to be played. Infinite Impermanence is going to be my other main deck worthy Handtrap. Ash and Imperm to me are like the 2 staples. Droll's the one where it's you could main it, you could side it, or you could just not play it altogether. Kind of depends how many Handtraps you're playing and what you expect to play against. I said this like a month ago that Lancia should see more play because Spright Runic and Kashtira being the 2 best decks. And I've seen a lot of topping lists citing this card lately, and it makes me happy because, once again, we called it. So Lancia seeing an uptick in play, and I do think it is a good card. Skullmeister has uses, but it's hard to get behind Skullmeister right now. I'm going to put it in my don't play because there's just way too many cards that are just better. Like, I would play 3 to 4 Bestials, I'd play Crow, I'd play Lancia, I'd play Bell, I'd play the 3 main deck ones all before this card. Maybe I play it before some of the has uses ones, but there's no reason I'm going to be playing Skullmeister this format. Ghost Mourner, if you're playing enough hand traps that you really want it, and like Kashtira can use it for Baron, it's another level 3 tuner. I think Mourner has some uses. Just remember, guys, like your turn versus their turn, because trigger effects and how they stack, and you want the change result backwards. So just use this card properly, please. Nibiru, very good side deck card. I don't like Nibiru in the main. I know it sees main deck play and it sees success in the main. Just personally, I don't think that it is going to be that good in your main deck. Ghost Ogre, kind of like Mourner, has uses. However, I think it's going to be a little bit better than Mourner, but I'm just not quite sold on it. I would side deck it if you play it at all. Orange Light, this is very deck specific. Like Drytron should play Orange Light, so it's very good, has uses. I'm sure there's other fairy decks out there, but Drytron being one that can play this relatively easily. That's why they have in the past. Reaper, where do I want Reaper? For the longest time, I've always loved this card. Have my First Ed Secrets. I want it to be amazing, but it's in my don't play category like it usually is, unfortunately. Shifter, as much as I want to say main deck this card, if you can main deck this card, just too many of the best decks can main deck this card, and it's just not that great. I'd absolutely side deck it because it's a blowout versus a lot of decks. It's just not a blowout versus like the top few decks, so we're gonna put it like as the top of the side deck category. Phantasme, does it have uses? Yeah, it's got uses, I guess. It's a level 7, but it puts a body on board. It gets you a draw, it gets you to fix your hand, but you need them to link. So versus Kashtira, versus Despia, versus Labyrinth, versus a lot of these top tier decks, it's not going to do anything. So I guess we'll put it in the has uses, because I don't think it's worth siding though. So I would not play it, but I would also not play Hunter. I wouldn't play Contact. I wouldn't play Gamma. Depending on my deck, which I don't play decks that would run Orange Light, I wouldn't play that either. It is going to be a has uses card. I don't think that it's actually good enough to be played. Finally, Effect Veiler. Where do I want to put it? In my OTS, I was actually maining those, and I said, because of my matchups, Droll sucked, and also Veiler just sucked too. Usually our locals is just filled with Spright, like half the people there are on Spright. So I was like, okay, if I play 12 hand traps, I'll see 1 to 2 pretty often. I can disrupt them going second. And if I go first, I can just not make a Rise Heart to keep these live, like go Unicorn, Fenrir, possibly the Planet, Shangri-La, Pop, Handtrap, and like Birth interaction. Like just have tons of layered interaction, and I'm not too worried about it. But this card is just underwhelming. Even matchups where obviously you can negate something, it was just underwhelming. So I wouldn't main deck. I don't think Veiler's good enough to be main decked right now, and it's not good enough in the side either. I think it has uses if you need enough, like if you're looking for a hand trap and you're trying to play like 12 plus hand traps, it has uses. It can be played, but I think these 3 for sure should be main decked over it, and possibly Mourner moving forward. So it might be that 5th option if you're looking for a main deck hand trap and you opt not to main the Nibiru, because Bell, Lancia, these cards are definitely side deck cards. So like I'd main those 3 first, probably Mourner 4th, maybe Nibiru, and then your Veiler. So again, uses based on how many hand traps you plan on playing, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Let me know down below what you guys think of my hand trap rankings for the format ahead, and until next time guys, take care.